are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. And in case you're just joining us, welcome to Kenya's Gold and happy Valentine's to you from whichever part of the country that you are watching us from. Now, our aim today, of course, is to understand and learn a lot more when it comes to sustainability in agriculture. And in this particular conversation, we will be focusing on preserving indigenous seeds. And to shed more light on that, we are joined by a team from Seed Savers Network, an organization dealing in preserving indigenous seeds that would otherwise be extinct. Karibuni sana Kenya's Gold. And happy Valentine's to all of you.
Thank you.
Mmenunua maua, mmepata maua. Mukona maua. And you look equally as good. Thank you so much for making time. We do have Mercy Ambani, who is a program officer at Seed Savers Network. We also have John Wainaina, a farmer and a seed ambassador, and we have Salina Chepsat, who's also a farmer. Karibuni sana Kenya's Gold. Now, we do want to have this conversation on indigenous seeds. Yes. And we'll start with you, John Wainaina. We do have a display here. Kuna ule mtu akisikia mbegu ya nadhania mbegu ni mbegu. Indigenous ni gani, yenye si indigenous ni gani. Please expound further on what we mean when we are talking about indigenous seeds.
Yes, asante sana. Tunapoongea kuhusu indigenous seed, hizi ni mbegu zetu ambazo ni zile mbegu za kiasili ambazo zilikuwa zinapandwa hata na mababu zetu, na sisi tunazihifadhi na tumepata ya kwamba zina manufaa sana, kwa sababu first of all hazishindwi sana na ukame. They are drought tolerant, they are pest tolerant, na hizi mbegu ni nzuri, hata katika nutrition value they are very high. Kwa hivyo hizi ni mbegu zetu za kiasili ambazo hatuendi kununua dukani, bali tunajiwekea, na wakati mvua inaponyesha, mimi naingia katika seed bank yangu, ninachukua mbegu, ninaenda ninapanda. Kwa hivyo hakuna shida ama mambo ya kushinda tukifugulugana hapo ati sina pesa, kwa sababu already mimi kama mkulima nimejihifadhia zile mbegu zetu, na ni mbegu za kiasili na ni mbegu zinafanya vizuri.
Kwa sasa seed bank yako ni yako personal, or you have a community seed bank from where you come from?
Kwangu kuna seed bank ambayo sio yangu, mbali ni ya community ama kikundi kizima, huwa wanakuja wanaweka pale mbegu zao. Alafu wakati wa kupanda wanakuja wanachukua, wanaenda wanapanda.
Great. Yes. Thank you for that explanation. I believe the viewer back at home has a better understanding of what we mean when we talk about indigenous seeds. I'll come to you, Mercy Ambani, program officer at Seed Savers Network. When we listen to John, anaeleza kwa upana kwamba the indigenous seeds zinastahimili ukame, they are also not easily affected by pests and diseases. But then again, we have these hybrid seeds which we are educated that yes, they are drought resistant, they are not affected by pests and diseases as compared to the indigenous ones, and they also give you a lot more harvest. Are we contradicting ourselves? How true is that? Please help us understand further, because the reason as to why we are being advised to get these hybrid ones is because of the very same reasons that John anaeleza the indigenous ones zinaweza fanya. Help us learn that.
Okay, over time we are now experiencing challenges of climate change, and you will find that seasons are now changing. It's not how we used to have it before. And you'll see that maybe rains come not in the due time that we expected, and sometimes it's too hot. So we have a lot of changes in weather, and you can attest that these are the seeds that have been in existence, and they are well adapted. In case of any situation coming up, this farmer is sure that he will be able to get some food. Unlike the other seeds, let me call them the hybrid seeds, whereby they require some kind of conditions. Like we need some chemical inputs, like the fertilizers that have to be there. We have a set amount of rainfall that have to be there so that these seeds have to perform in the very end. So we have like a standard way of which the conventional or the other seeds that we call the hybrid seeds that have to perform well. But when you come to these indigenous seeds, the resources that are required or the input level that is required for these seeds to perform is at a minimal rate, and farmers are sure that at the end I'll have food. Yeah.
Right. Great. So from your explanation, I'm gathering that with indigenous seeds, in the wake of climate change, when it comes to resources, they are much more effective.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'll come to you, Selina, who you are a farmer and you practice 100% organic farming and you're using indigenous seeds. Ningependa sana kuelewa kwa shamba lako, umepanda nini na nini?
Katika shamba langu, mimi nimepanda niko na mbegu aina mbalimbali kama vile mahindi ya red, yellow maize, ile ya kitambo na wimbi pia ni ile ya kitambo yenye tulikuwa naona kuogo na walikuwa naweka. Unajua zamani haikuwa na magonjwa kama vile kansa, vile magonjwa hizi mingi. Saa hizi kitambo hiyo walikuwa naweka paa la nyumba yenye iko na moshi, wakihifadhi mbegu zao. Wanaenda kwa shamba, wanachagua mbegu mzuri, wanahifadhi vizuri. Ikifika wakati ya mvua, wakati huo anaenda kupanda na wanafukusana na hiyo mvua ili apate vyakula, inamea vizuri. Na pia hata wakati kama tuseme for example mvua inaweza isha, saa hiyo inaweza kaa hata mwezi mmoja kabla hujaweka maji, na ukipata uweke maji pia inakuja inakuwa vizuri. Nimesha kuwa experience ya kwamba nilipanda mahindi na nikatengeneza manure, yani hii organic fertilizer. Na mahindi shamba tulikuwa tunatumia hizi kemikali, lakini ilikuwa nanipea 12 sacks per acre. And wakati nilikuja kubadilisha kutumia manure ya ng'ombe, ya mbuzi, nikitengeneza na kutumia matawi ya miti, ikanipea 38 sacks kwa eka moja. So nikaona kumbe tumeshaharibu mchanga kwa vitu ambaye haistahimili.
Are we having conversations on how we can make seed banks creation in Kenya a priority?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
As a Seed Savers Network, right now we have established up to 106 community seed banks in Kenya, and that is ranging from Western region. We have seed banks in Bungoma, in Kakamega, in Busia. In Nakuru County, we have seed banks. In Baringo County, we have seed banks. Right now, we are setting up 3 other seed banks in Turkana County. And this is a space where we are creating it at a village level so that farmers have an easier access to seeds, and not just that seed banks are only for seed saving. You'll even go to the agro shops and you'll find there are certain seeds that you want and you're not able to get them at the agro shops. But when we go to these community seed banks, these are innate seeds that were there and our great-grandparents used to plant them. For instance, I can give an example of different varieties of African black nightshade, the managu. It's easier for you.
Managu iko na jina mzuri hivyo.
Yes. And we
I was like, ni mboga gani?
And you see, we have varieties of managu.
Right.
Different species on managu, like amarants. In our local language, you call it terere or chimboka. You will find you have even up to 23 species. But when you go maybe to the agro shops, you might likely to get only one. Where are the others? Right. So the seed banks we have set up, the 106, and we continue setting up more, is that it will give easier access to farmers. And if a farmer needs a certain type of seed, very specific seed, I need this type of managu seed, they are able to access it.
Right. So one of the biggest conversations happening in the seed space is, of course, the Seed and Plant Varieties Act, CAP 326 of 2012, which prohibits wakulima kama nyinyi ku-exchange, ku-share uncertified and indigenous seeds. Najua hapo mnasema no, hamtaki hiyo. Lakini, you know, there's also the aspect of the sharing of seeds. Kama unatoa mbegu kutoka kwa shamba yako ambayo ilikuwa na ugonjwa, ukispread kwingine, it's very easy to spread these diseases. It's very easy to grow crops that are not in the right condition. And this is part of the issues that we are trying to limit with the certified seeds. What is your take on that, John? Nini tunafanya ndio hata kama tunapigania our indigenous seeds, tuhakikishe hatusambazi ugonjwa kutoka kwa shamba A hadi shamba B?
As a seed apacenter, we have been trained even how to select seeds. And we start from the garden, whereby we select the seeds which are drought tolerance, pest free, and even we have been trained, as you can hear my fellow farmers saying that we know how to prepare our soil through making organic fertilizers, and these organic fertilizers are prepared from, not from, they go under the process. So the seeds that we are producing, they go the process whereby they are selected. Even before they get to the seed bank, they are cleaned, they are tested, moisture tests. We make sure that we have tested even germination tests. And we do all those, and the seeds that we put there, they have been there for some years. These are the seeds that farmers go and regenerate, and also they go and multiply.
Right.
And they are doing very good. Like the officer is saying that they have started to do them in Turkana. Our seed banks produce seeds to the seed savers, and those are the seeds that we give people in Turkana, and they are planting, and now they are setting seed banks in Lodwar.
Right.
So these seeds are clean seeds, and they are good seeds. And we store them we used to store them in plastic bottle, but right now we have a glass container which can store for a long time. Even those people who are doing seed saving, they know how to preserve their seeds using the ash. They know how to do it using the nini.
Right. And thank you so much for that.
Respond a bit on the Seed and Plant Varieties Act. It's also beyond that, because for the Seed and Plant Varieties Act, it mandates that for anyone to sell and exchange, they have to discover a variety. And secondly, certification is supposed to come from KEPHIS.
Right.
And KEPHIS has legal procedures that are to be followed before you register a variety.
Right.
And thirdly, also, we also have an issue here about the intellectual property rights, or that relies more on the plant breeders. So plant breeders, if they have a variety that they have released and farmers are able to multiply it in the fields, they still are not mandated to exchange and sell the variety. So the question here is, who is to discover variety, yet this is a variety that belongs to the farmer? And for the registration at KEPHIS, we have to have varieties that are stable. These are plant varieties, these are indigenous varieties that change over time. They adapt. So they have to come up, they have like a mechanism to enable them continue multiplying and to be there for generations to come.
Right.
So we find that somehow the law is unfair to farmers, and now we are at a stage where these farmers have gone to the court to seek for interpretation of the law.
Right. I know that's a very sensitive issue, and now we have CS Mutahi Kagwe as the CS of Agriculture. Initially, this was a conversation that had started with Dr. Andrew Karanja on how we can reach a fair ground when it comes to Seed and Plant Varieties Act. And right here at Kenya's Gold, we'll definitely follow up with CS Mutahi Kagwe to see how far tuhakikishe pia wakulima wetu wamesikizwa, because at the end of the day we are trying to achieve food sovereignty in Kenya, and for food sovereignty to be achieved, our farmers need to be at the forefront. Now we are taking another break right now, but please do not go anywhere, because when we come back, we want to understand which particular crops, as we speak, are at the risk of extinct here in Kenya. That and more will be spoken to us after this break.